Hi, thanks for coming back to ogilvydo. This is Jeremy Katz. I'm here with Evan Shapiro of Pivot TV. Evan, you just came off the stage and we talked about the connected life in terms of the shift that's happening and in terms of networks. Now, you run is upstart an okay word for the kind of network that you have?
Yeah.
Or is there a better word for it?
No, that's perfect.
Innovative, disruptive?
Yeah. We prefer disruptive.
Disruptive, very good. So you run a disruptive network that may very well be a model that's going to be adopted by others as time goes on.
I hope so.
And hopefully licensing your technology. But could you tell us a little bit about privacy concerns? Because that was something that was brought up at the beginning of your session. And there's a lot of digital information that's given out very freely by consumers. And you're going to be looking at your consumers through the lens of a broadband connection, and they're going to be watching television. So one presumes you'll know even more about them than a television network would.
Well, in that case, actually, they'll be authenticating, so they'll be doing it through their broadband provider. So that company will have the look inside their world. What's interesting is we're actually creating an entire initiative around digital media literacy. Called Eyes Wide Open. And this generation, the millennial generation, is the most connected, most tech-savvy generation ever. They're digital natives. However, we did an enormous survey of 2,200 of people that age and their opinions on technology and privacy and digital media literacy. And what they say is, they're like, I know I'm giving up my privacy, but what choice do I have? And so what we're hoping to do is making them more aware of the things that they're giving up when they say, we had a film on the network called Terms and Conditions May Apply. What the film showed is that no one ever reads. 95% of people who click agree on terms and conditions, I did it this morning on the Wi-Fi in my hotel, don't read the terms and conditions. And what they're giving up as a result of that is this everything we're finding out now about the NSA is that companies have the right to do with your information whatever the hell they want. And while you may still do that after you read the terms and conditions, we want to help this generation become more aware of what the rights that they're giving up when they hand over that stuff. And it's not just privacy. When you put a picture up on Instagram, who owns that picture? Do you own that picture, or does Instagram own that picture? Google has just announced that they're going to be able to use your likeness and your name in ads. And so we just want to create a more savvy, more literate audience and provide them the information they need to make informed decisions with regards to their privacy, but also the rights of the content. We are all now content creators, and that content is earning other companies or earning companies money. We're actually doing a show with Joseph Gordon-Levitt called Hit Record, which is what this button is. It's an open source collaboration between Joe and his community of recorders. And what we do is we pay every single person who contributes to every single episode of that show. If your stuff is used, we pay you. And we've set aside a budget inside every episode to pay them. That's unusual, and it flips the whole paradigm on its head. That's where I think the industry should head. I don't know if they will.
Now, we're speaking about the millennial generation. You said something also very interesting towards the end about that generation. If I can quote you, you said, the change in the world that they believe it needs to happen will come from brands. Could you tell us a little bit more? Why brands?
Well, they look at companies like Google. They look at companies like Apple. They look at companies like Netflix. They look at television brands like HBO. Pivot, and they see important and lasting change coming from that. The Twitter and Facebook are credited with overthrowing a regime in Egypt, and those are companies. They have a distinct belief that the innovations that are necessary to change the world ahead of us. Look at a company like Tesla or SpaceX. The democratization of content creation through things like, the MacBook. They very much believe that the change that's necessary are going to come from the corporate arena, not because corporations are necessarily investing in change, but because that's where the best and the brightest people in the world are going. The disillusionment with our government is both, I think, obvious, and it's obvious why it's happening. I mean, you look at the last month, and it's like, they're never going to get anything done. And so the institutions that created change over the last 200 years are no longer able to do so. And what's interesting, and this is the premise of my network, but also the company Participant Media for whom I work, we believe that you can have a double bottom line. We believe that you can create lasting and sustainable change and make a profit at the same time. We are a for-profit company who made Lincoln, probably financially our most successful film. But it also was screened on Capitol Hill by President Obama to talk about, geez, guys, maybe we should try to work together. You look at The Cove, which was an Academy Award-winning documentary that helped stop the slaughter of dolphins in Japan. You look at Food Inc., which got the Childhood Nutrition Act passed. We're bringing those ethos to television. And the brands who do that, the brands who support causes that are important to their customers, will do better, 100%. I wear Warby Parker glasses, One for One, Tom's Shoes, Ben & Jerry, Method. These companies are being celebrated by their consumers, and those consumers are actually willing to pay more money in order to interact and live with brands that support the causes that are important to them. And here's the other thing, in a talent war, if you're trying to recruit the best and the brightest for your company, they will go work at a company and they will take less money to do so if they believe in the ethos and the values of that company. So that's where the change is going to come from. Your company's either going to be on that train or off that train, and it's right now the time to make that decision.
It's an exciting time. Thank you very much for your time today on the
pleasure.
panel and then here again. This is Ogilvydo, and we'll be back with another interview soon. Thanks so much.
Thanks, man.